Good evening, and welcome to the Putnam Valley Board of Education final budget hearing and work session business meeting of Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017. Please stand as we salute our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I'd like to resolve to approve the minutes of the Board of Education public hearing and special business meeting of April 18th, 2017.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Before we move on, I'd like Dr. Wills to kind of sneak into her superintendent's report and make an important introduction.
I would like to introduce to the Board of Education and our community our new SRO in our building, our school resource officer, Deputy Keith Blessing, who is following Deputy Pitt, who has been promoted to an investigations area of the department. And Deputy Pitt, we want you to meet our board. Maybe we could each
Deputy
give our
Blessing.
name. I'm sorry, Deputy Blessing. That was, well, Deputy Blessing. I'm so used to saying the other. So, Deputy Blessing, would you like to be introduced? I'd like to have everybody just tell Deputy Blessing who you are.
Hi, Jill Figuerella, Treasurer for the school district.
Hello, Natalie Doherty, Assistant Superintendent.
Ralph Smith, board member.
Joe Ferraro, board member.
Janine Rufo, Board President.
Fran Wills, Superintendent.
Guy Cohen, board member.
Erin Peterson, student rep.
Sarah Bross, student rep.
And welcome, welcome, welcome.
Do the handshaking thing?
Come around and do a handshake, we
We do the handshaking thing.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to thank the board for welcoming me to the meeting tonight. Everyone here, faculty, staff, students have been making me feel at home my first 2 days here. Deputy Pitt has done, well, now Investigator Pitt has done a wonderful job with the school community and the town of Putnam Valley. I look forward to carrying the torch, so to speak, and continue the program. It is a very great program, very community police organizing, which we at the Sheriff's Department, Sheriff Don Smith, is all about. Look forward to becoming a great asset and resource for this community, bridging the gap between law enforcement and youth, providing a safe, positive learning environment for the students, and also a safe, positive work environment for the faculty and staff. And we can do a lot with this program and look to carry it on into the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just today, we had actually a car accident at the bottom of the hill, and Officer Blessing was right there, and it really was a very good experience. He had everything worked out.
Not a lot of downtime in a school. No. Okay, moving on, I'd like to announce that the Treasurer's Report for March 2017 is available in the business office. Okay, and the primary focus of tonight is it is our final budget hearing, so we now have our presentation of our proposed budget. Ms. Figueroa?
Well, I don't have a new presentation.
Okay.
We can certainly go over any questions or comments that the board might have regarding the school budget. I made a number of presentations. We have all of our presentations on the website available. Also, tonight, as required, we have the long version of the budget available. It contains a lot of information that is fiscal related, and also, educational data within it. So I can answer questions if anybody has any, or if you'd like me to go over anything that we've already talked about.
Perhaps just as the board is developing their questions, perhaps we can just let the public know that, as we've said in a number of presentations, that our increase in the levy.
Right, I can go over
Yes.
the points of the budget.
The major
certainly.
points below the tax cap.
So for the public's information, our tax levy is lower. We're presenting a budget that is 0.84% increase over last year's tax levy. The allowable tax levy is up at 0.96, which is the formula that the state has created for all school districts to use to create what they call the tax cap. So again, we're lower. We're at 0.84%, which is about a $300,000 increase over last year's levy. We have a number of new initiatives for the 2017-18 school year, and we have savings in the budget that include and make things possible for those initiatives to happen, which is the savings from the New York State retirement system based on their contribution rate for teachers' salaries and staff salaries. And we also have 8 retiring teachers and 7 retiring non-teaching staff members. There were a couple of new cost impacts, budget impacts that, impacted the budget for cost-wise. Is the health premiums went up by 8% across about 18 districts that belong to our BOCES, which is where we get our health insurance from as a school district. We also have regular contractual increases, and a highlight of the budget is replacing 2 of the vehicles from our fleet of buses that we use for special needs. There are 2 propositions on the budget ballot this year, and the first one being the regular general fund budget, and the second one being the energy performance contract. And again, we can go over that for one last time about the need for people to come out and vote on the budget and vote on the proposition number 2 regarding the energy performance contract. There's significant savings in the energy performance contract, $384,000 a year approximately, and with the district residents supporting that budget and supporting the energy performance contract, the district could receive an extra 10% in aid based on the fact that they're supporting the propositions. If the proposition doesn't pass for any reason, the school district would still be allowed to go ahead with the project. However, the district wouldn't receive the additional 10% incentive. So in, looking at those parameters, it is very important for people to get out and vote. And we want to send that message that the vote is on Tuesday, May 16th, at the regular location, our elementary school, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. And absentee ballots can be cast right up until 5 p.m. that evening. And I believe May 11th is the deadline for registering at the county for eligibility to vote.
Joe, can I ask a question, because it was asked of me the other day? How does someone who is out of town or out of state, particularly our former students, get an absentee ballot?
So Maureen can tell you
They
that.
can download the application. It's a 2-step process. They'd have to send me the application, which is on the website. They mail it to me. I mail them back the ballot. If they happen to be coming down for a day prior to the vote, they can actually bring the application filled out to me in the office, and they can actually do the ballot right there, and I take it back.
But if not, if they live in
I have to
Texas,
mail it back
right.
to them, then they have to mail it back to me.
And is that information is on our website?
Everything's on the website,
It's on the
yes.
home page, right after the logo on the top. It's on the left side. You can click on up. If you click in the middle of the box that says budget, you'll get all the presentations. If you click down just under that, it talks about absentee ballot and registration information.
It
Right.
was suggested that since I know Ms. Entreri does a great deal with her Facebook and Twitter, our students who are ninth and freshmen and sophomores in college are not on our website. So can a tweet or a Facebook post go out targeting those
Yes, we'll make that
students?
happen, yes.
Because they're not going on the
No.
website. So,
Right, and everyone has access to our app, and is easy, our app is easily downloaded, which also has a link to our website. And in addition to that, our budget newsletter will be going out tomorrow, and that will have all of the details and facts about the budget in it for the upcoming year.
and the vote is 2 weeks from tonight, correct?
That
Yes.
is correct.
And there's also an Inside Putnam Valley video that is going to be shown fairly soon. It's ready, and it's going to go up, and we'll send it also to the town.
And I know we've had many, many discussions as a board about the budget. Mr. Cohen is just going to put up where on the website everything, all the budget presentations can be found. But I am gonna, can I ask now if there is any public contribution on the budget, that we do that right now? Are you here to talk about the budget? You one public person? Okay, didn't think so. Yeah, I didn't think so. So I just wanted, this would be a good time to have the public contribution. But we will ask again.
Do I have to plug this in?
Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Putnam Valley homepage. So www.putnam, PVCSD, Putnam Valley Central School District.org. This is the page that comes up. If I click up here, where you notice where my arrow is, I'm going to get all the budget information, all the details about the budget will come up. So you see all the presentations that the board has seen that just goes over. If you click down here, it says application for the ballots. It tells you how to vote, how to register, and how to get the application. So it's all down here on the bottom. So this is all on the Putnam Valley Central School District home page, pvcsd.org.
Great. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, related, our next presentation is to appoint from the board a chairperson who opens and closes. Is it the
Yes.
same person?
Doesn't have to be.
It could be, there's two, but usually there's
Okay.
two. One opens, one can close, or both can open, both can close.
Okay. Okay, I'd be willing to do one or both. Anybody else jumping?
I can jump in, because they both went this way. I can go this way to the other person. 'Cause I'm up
Okay.
before that.
Yeah, and I usually vote before I go to school either, so, as well.
So you just gotta be here before 6, or I'll be here before 6.
Okay.
We can talk about it the night before.
Yep, that's fine.
And our two names will be added to the motion.
Okay, perfect. Okey dokey. Okay. And then moving along, under present, have we put the budget to bed for now?
For now, if anybody, obviously, if anyone has any questions, I know the long version of the budget, or the detailed version of the budget became available this week, so,
Right.
it's
And you did
possible.
send it
And we
to
do
us.
have another meeting, do we have
Between the
another
vote-
meeting
No,
before the
no.
budget?
No,
No,
this
we
is
do
the last
not.
one.
Unless
Okay,
we
I'm
call a
sorry.
special meeting, unless we.
But
agree
I'm
to have a
always
special meeting.
available, in the business office if anyone has any questions, and
And this is up on the website
again,
as
it's all up
well.
on the website as
Right.
The
well.
long version.
It
And we've
will
all
be
had a chance to
tomorrow
look at
after
it.
the hearing, yes.
And I think we've talked about it in the past, but I just want to remind everybody that we are still, I don't want to get this wrong, Jill, we are coming in at a lower budget than we did how many years ago?
Right, so our budget is 5 years, constant at a lower than it was 5 years ago. Our budget itself and our tax levy is also lower than it was 5 years ago.
And I think that's
So,
important.
and we've met our obligations as far as the tax cap goes for the 6 years that the tax cap has been in effect. That will enable our residents to get a tax freeze credit again this fall.
And I want to thank Dr. Wills and Ms. Figueroa for their work. The devil is in the details, and there are many, 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 many details in this budget, but the balance of ensuring that we're still spending less and levying our taxpayers less and being fiscally responsible than we were 5 years ago, but meeting the ever-growing demands and needs of our children and putting in some new initiatives that are really going to be very effective educationally for our children. That balance is always, it's the purpose of the board, it's always a hard thing to do, but both of you and all of your team make it very easy to do that, so thank you.
I just,
From the homepage to, the budget, click on that budget. This is a very good presentation summarizing the new faculty, the new positions, and everything else that we're doing. There's more detailed presentations as you go down, where you see the presentations by the technology people, by each of the principals. So anyone in the community can just go on and see all this information. And obviously, if you have a question, you can contact Dr. Wills, you can contact Joe Ferrero, or you can contact any of the board members, and we will get you an answer very quickly.
Absolutely.
But one of the things that you should realize, that people forget how difficult this budget process is that the consumer price index was just over 1% increase, but our budget-to-budget increase is less than that. So you can understand how difficult it is in the current environment that we live in New York State to finance education.
Absolutely. Okay. One other, it's under the category of presentations, is a discussion to continue the moratorium that we implemented, I want to say it's about 5 or 6 years ago now, on approving the admission of non-resident children and professional staff. I mean, one time it was a practice throughout the county to have students of faculty members attend the school. When some of our fiscal concerns began, it was thought that that did put some inconsistencies and unfair pressure onto the taxpayers, so we have a moratorium that, and this is something we have to do annually to continue that. And when I was looking at the agenda for this year, I'm thinking at this point we may want to look at talking about a policy change. Right now we don't have our policy, doing this every year as our existing policy. Maybe in July when we do some reorganization, or next year, that we actually talk about whether we want to revisit and look at this policy and make a permanent change in it, or not. Any other conversation about that now? Okay, moving right along to reports, student reports.
Okay, students have recently been exploring college options, and they went on 2 school trips. The first was to the BOCES College Fair, where over 200 of our students had the opportunity to attend a career decision workshop and stop by some college booths to learn about some of their programs that they had. And the second trip was to the Westchester Community College, and it included a tour of the campus, along with a special surprise visit by the vice president of the college.
Other lucky students made a trip to the Metropolitan Museum of Art with Mrs. Methans and Mr. Lenhard. It was a fantastic opportunity to view some beautiful pieces of art.
The peer mediation program was officially kicked off this week. The students in the peer mediation program have gone through training sessions and are officially ready to begin mediation within the school building. And we'd like to thank Mark Wise, who was directing the training, for his guidance and support.
The English National Honor Society had a special birthday for the one and only William Shakespeare. Attendees enjoyed birthday cake and drinks. Also facilitated by the English Honor Society was the PVHS Poem in a Pocket Day. Members of the Honor Society handed out poems to all the students and faculty in the building, meant to be kept in their pockets. The day was to encourage appreciation and enjoyment of poetry.
The Putnam Valley Elementary School had a special 4th grade Revolutionary War reenactment where the students dressed up and learned about all aspects of the Revolutionary War, including medicine and historical figures involved. High school students that were members of the History Club also attended the event, where they taught kids about the important historical people that are generally overlooked. Also, Mr. Odell, along with some of his student musicians, joined in by playing some music and dressing up. So we'd like to thank all who have participated in making this a hugely successful event.
In athletics, there have been a number of committals and events over the past weeks. Coaches, parents, and students participated in the Putnam Valley Girls in Sports Day to show support for and encourage female athletes. The future of female athletics in Putnam Valley is very strong. Kiki Cruz, a talented athlete, committed to St. Francis for Division I in track. Kayla Cabelli also committed this week and will run track and field at Thomas Aquinas in the fall. Yet another congratulations to Satoshi Abe and Kyle Sams. Satoshi won at the Journeyman World Classic Wrestling Tournament, beating a 2017 New York State champion. Kyle Sams won the New York State Freestyle Competition qualifier and heads to the Northeast Regional Championship next. The Putnam Valley High School softball team recently adopted Kelsey Berger as a member of their softball team. Kelsey is an elementary school student battling cancer. Our thoughts are behind her and her family.
And the science research students recently competed in a tri-county competition last weekend where Jasper Katzban placed 3rd, Ryan Usai placed 3rd, and Walter Weekhazer placed 1st in their categories. So congratulations to all of them who participated.
The well-roundedness of that presentation is really noteworthy, from athletes adopting children that are struggling to science accomplishments, arts accomplishments, history accomplishments. That was great. Thank you, girls. Do we have any representation from the PTA, PTSA? Okay. I actually do want to comment on behalf of the PTA and Dr. Wills might, that last week, they did sponsor a screening of the movie Screenagers, which you're going to talk about?
That's all right.
No, that's fine, but I just want to thank them. Dr. Wills will talk more about that, but I want to thank them and their work with the middle school guidance counselor, Dina Castron, for bringing a very informative program to our district. And that leaves you, Dr. Wills.
Okay, well, I'm glad Mrs. Rufer brought that up because, yes, I do want to also express gratitude to the PTSA for bringing that film to the schools, because the issue of screens, the use of technology by teens in ways that can be very detrimental. They can be wonderful in that you communicate, but they can be detrimental in that can affect actually your state of mind and your concentration and your ability to interact with others in a personal way. And I think the film did make an impression. We had Mr. McCarty and Mr. O'Connor there talking to the parents as well. In the same vein, I wanted to mention that I attended a conference, a national conference, with Ms. Intrieri last week on later starts at schools. And I'm not going to talk too much about it tonight, but at some future time, I would like to spend more time on this topic at a board meeting, because what I learned there really had a significant impact on me, and I know the same was true with Ms. Intrieri, because the research was extensive. That was the research that was presented on the impact on health in so many ways that perhaps we don't think about, because the lack of sleep can affect people not just in their present state, but in their future life trajectory in terms of their heart, in terms of cancer, and in terms of immune function that can begin with poor sleep habits that start in early years. What I do have is a flash drive with all of the research, which we're going to post on our website, the presentations from the conference, which we'll post on our website in another couple of weeks. We'll have it up, plus some links to important research that was done in Minnesota. What was interesting at the conference, there were over 200 people there from all over the country. There were a number of people from California, from Utah, from Michigan, Minnesota, and I have to be perfectly honest. I did get up to ask a question. I asked if 40 minutes, a full period, would be sufficient to actually have an impact. And I had been listening to people talking about starting at 8:30, which is the optimum. I asked that question. When I asked it, I prefaced it by telling them what time we started, 7:10. There were groans throughout this 200-person group and almost shaming me
Like child abuse.
for having this.
I have that same reaction.
But what was important was the response to the question, because these were all researchers, scientists who had done the sleep research for years. The research gives you evidence over years, not just one or two. And I'm sure that Guy will take a look at the research and maybe give us some pointers on it as well, because it's longitudinal studies as well as large sample studies. But the answer to the question was yes. Even the 40 minutes can have an impact. And so this is something we'll certainly be discussing further as we move along, but I did want to mention it. Also, I wanted to say that we just had a listening hour on the topic of ELA, and we had our incoming Director of Learning there, our new Dr. Luft, and we also had Nicole Mangieri, who is our new incoming Assistant Principal at the middle school, and we had a very lively conversation. And it's important to note that Ms. Mangieri has extensive experience in ELA, which was the topic, and extensive experience in looking at middle school ELA, which is something that we were all, thinking about and working on. So it was a very helpful meeting. I also wanted to mention that the Mandarin Chinese program that we were offering this year, we have 15 students who have enrolled in that program. That is more than actually I had expected. I was hoping if we had a group of 10, we would be able to start the program, so this is a good launch for us for that program. So
And what's
we're pretty
nice
excited
is it
about
also, it builds in, because we had said we'd want 10 or 12 to start it to make it worth its while. This builds in some of the natural changing
Yes.
of minds that happen when people look at their
Exactly.
schedule and start balancing and
Yes.
saying, oh, maybe that's not going to work. So that's
Yes.
a very nice, safe
Yes.
number.
And we also have a larger group than usual of ninth graders who are choosing to go into science research next year. So these are some nice sort of endorsements of some of the trends of the things that we're working on. As you know, we're having our math assessments this week, and our numbers are pretty much for those refusals are pretty much similar to ELA, but overall in the district for math, we have an overall 30% refusal rate, and 28% was the ELA. Our numbers at the elementary school are far fewer. The percentage at the elementary school, for example, 16.5% would be the average, and 16% in ELA, and 16.5% in the math. So you can see that at the elementary school, it's quite a bit lower in terms of the refusal rate. So that's where we are.
All right, at this point, I'd like to open it to public contribution on the listed agenda. And if there's none, I'd like to go right to new business. Mr. Perot, you can start us off with number 1. The long one.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby grants Shannon Tarkington a leave of absence from her current position as a special education teacher in the district effective September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2018, as per document number 191/17, and be it further resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that the Board of Education hereby appoints Shannon Tarkington, who has been previously tenured as a teacher in this school district, to a 3-year probationary term as an elementary teacher, commencing September 1st, 2017, and terminating on August 31st, 2020, which is the same thing, in the tenure area of elementary education at the elementary school on step 6MA, $80,083 of the PVFT salary schedule. In order to be eligible for appointment to tenure, said teacher must have at least 3 years of effective or highly effective APPR ratings pursuant to Section 3012C and/or 3012D of the Education Law during the probationary term, and may not receive an ineffective APPR rating in the final year of probation. Ms. Tarkington holds professional certification in childhood education 1 through 6.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
And Ms.
Yes,
Tarkington is
Ms.
here.
Tarkington is here. and
Do the handshake.
Do the handshake, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Get the
has
handshake.
been teaching with us as a special education teacher for a number of years. And now is interested in going into the classroom as a general ed teacher. Oops.
Do we have a Tarkington in every building? Yeah, I think there may be. Okay, there is. That's good. Okay. Mr. Smith, number 2.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby grants Angela Methens a leave of absence from her current position as a high school English teacher in the district, effective September 1st, 2017 through August 31st, 2019, as per document 193/17, and be it further resolved upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools that the Board of Education hereby appoints Angela Methens, who has been previously tenured as a teacher in this school district, to a 3-year probationary term as an ENL teacher, commencing on September 1st, 2017, and terminating on August 31st, 2020, in the tenure area of ESOL in the district on step 17 MA, $109,853 of the PVFT salary schedule. In order to be eligible for appointment to tenure, said teacher must have at least 3 years of effective or highly effective APPR ratings pursuant to Section 3012C and/or 3012D of the Education Law during the probationary term, and may not receive an ineffective APPR rating in the final year of probation. Ms. Methens holds ESOL supplementary certification.
Second.
Questions or comments? I actually have one. Is that correct on reading? A 2-school-year leave of absence till August
Yes.
2019?
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 3.
Resolved on recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint William Posch to a 4-year probationary term as a social studies teacher commencing on September 1st, 2017 and terminating on August 31st, 2021 in the tenure area of social studies in the middle school. On step 2, masters of the PVFT salary schedule. Mr. Posch holds social studies 7 through 12 initial certification and social studies 5 through 6 extension initial annotation certification. In order to be eligible for appointment to tenure, said employee must receive at least 3 APPR ratings of effective or highly effective during the 4-year probationary term and may not receive any ineffective rating in the final year probation.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 4.
Whereas Jacob Ninan
Ninen.
has been previously tenured as a teacher in a New York public school district or BOCES, and whereas said teacher has presented proof of receipt of a Section 3012C and 3012D education law APPR rating in the final year of service in their previous service in such school district or BOCES, now therefore be resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, that the Board of Education hereby appoints Jacob Ninan to a 3-year probationary term as a 7 through 12 high school science teacher, commencing on September 1st, 2017 and terminating on August 31st, 2020 in the tenure area of high school science at Putnam Valley High School on Step 7A, MA, $85,751 of the PVFT salary schedule. Mr. Ninan holds certification in biology, chemistry, and general science. In order to be eligible for appointment to tenure, said teacher must have at least 3 years of effective or highly effective APPR ratings pursuant to Section 3012C and/or Section 3012D of the education law during the probationary term. That may count the rating from the previous employment as referenced above and may not receive an ineffective APPR rating in the final year of probation.
Second.
Questions or comments?
I'd just like to say that Mr. Ninan was interviewed and provided a wonderful demo lesson, but also his references and recommendations from his former school were exceptional, and to find a teacher of his caliber who is certified in biology, chemistry, and general science is a very strong resource for our school district and for our students. And the comment heard over and over again was his ability to build relationships and make connections with students. So I'm sorry that our science teachers coming up couldn't be here. I will hopefully have them, they'll be able to come to one of our future board meetings so that you can meet them.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 5.
Whereas Danielle Pizzuto has been previously tenured as a teacher in a New York public school district or BOCES, and whereas said teacher has presented proof of receipt of a Section 3012C and 3012D education law APPR rating in the final year of service in their previous service in such school district or BOCES, now therefore be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that the Board of Education hereby appoints Danielle Pizzuto to a 3-year probationary term as a 7 to 12 high school science teacher, commencing on September 1st, 2017, and terminating on August 31st, 2020, in the tenure area of high school science at Putnam Valley High School on Step 9 MA, $91,467 of the PVFT salary schedule. Ms. Pizzuto holds professional certification in chemistry 7 to 12 and biology 7 to 12. In order to be eligible for appointment to tenure, said teacher must have at least 3 years of effective or highly effective APPR ratings pursuant to Section 3012C and/or Section 3012D of the education law during the probationary term that may count the rating from the previous employment as referenced above, and may not receive an ineffective APPR rating in the final year of probation.
Second.
Questions or comments? I actually have one. And it's only because I'm noticing a little bit of a trend in both of these two appointments that we are bringing in new staff at fairly high steps. I would say dating back to about 2007, 2008, we were very careful to really maximize the savings of our retiring teachers to bring people in at lower steps. Now I also know how competitive the high school science world is and how much we really are looking for well-trained high school science teachers. But this is my, our role on the board is to represent the taxpayer as well as the students and the parents. And I feel I just want to say that we do want to continue to try to get the most bang for the buck and have staff start off here, lower steps, and grow and develop here.
Absolutely.
Because we do great staff development. We make them great.
Yes, I certainly agree with that sentiment. However, in the area of science, it is very, very difficult to find the resources that we need in order to have our students perform at the level that we
And
wish.
and these
Absolutely.
positions are not replacement positions. These are new positions.
Well, there's one replacement and one new.
Yes.
And the replacement is about equivalent, and the new is high, these are people who have many years of experience, but they also have outstanding performance records and references, and
No,
one
I
of-
didn't mean
Oh.
new as
Oh, oh,
teachers. I
oh.
meant new,
right.
an additional FTE as opposed to
One
replacement
is an
FTE.
additional and one is a
Right, but
replacement.
generally, the
Right.
rule of thumb is
Yes.
our experienced teachers retire and move on. and
Yes,
hire
that
set,
is.
And the newer teachers
But this
come
is
in.
really a statement about what our
Absolutely.
What we
what
need in
the
science right
current
now.
market is in terms of, that we are competing in. And we were actually quite pleased that we had teachers of this caliber coming here. One of them is taught in Rye and one is in Bedford. So they're,
Well, and
done
thus comes
outstanding
the
work.
balance
Yes.
between needs of the student, needs of the curriculum,
it,
and
exactly.
the fiscal responsibility. But I just felt that I wanted to at least say,
Sure.
we're looking. you
yes,
know.
absolutely.
It didn't slip by.
I know. All in favor? Aye. Number 6.
Resolved on recommendation of superintendent of schools that the board appoints Penny Wallach to a 4-year probationary term as a teaching assistant commencing May 3rd, 2017, and terminating on May 3rd, 2021, in the teaching assistant tenure area, at an annual compensation in the amount of $22,620, Step 2 of the CSEA salary schedule, prorated and in accordance with the Putnam Valley Central School District Policy 9250. Ms. Wallach holds teaching assistant level 1 certification.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7.
Resolved that there be a moratorium on approving the admission of non-resident children of professional staff who were not previously enrolled in district schools during 2016-17 school year. Siblings of those students currently enrolled in the district may attend with specific approval of the board and the payment of tuition through 2017-18 school year.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Number 8.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby authorizes the superintendent of schools to execute a supplemental memorandum of agreement between the district and the Putnam Valley that should be Administrators Association? Administrators Association, dated April 26, 2017, as presented to the board at this meeting as document number 189/17. A copy of such supplemental memorandum of agreement shall be incorporated by reference within the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments?
What this motion is, it's saying that the director of athletics will now be part of the administrative union.
Right, it's not a new position,
No.
it's just moving him into our bargaining unit. All in favor? Aye. Number 9.
Resolved to approve and authorize the president of the Board of Education and the superintendent of schools to enter into a supplemental memorandum of agreement with the CSEA to extend the benefits upon retirement deadline for the 2016-17 school year only to retirees who notify Dr. Francis Wills, superintendent of schools, by June 15th, 2017.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Number 10.
Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to amend the resignation date of Eric Meyer, approved at the February 16, 2017 work session business meeting, to be effective May 4, 2017, as per document number 196/17, attached to the agenda and official minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Okay, moving on to the consent agenda.
Resolved on recommendation of the superintendent of schools to approve items 2 through 10 as appear within the consent agenda section of this meeting.
Second.
Questions or comments?
We're approving 20 workers for the school vote on May 16th, including machine technicians, election workers, machine operators, and machine movers. We're appointing Janine Rufo and Guy Cohen as the co-chairpersons for the May 16th vote. We're setting the meeting dates for the school year 2017 and 2018, and they will be published on our site so you can see them. We're approving a contract with Southwest BOCES for computer services and computer equipment. We save money by buying it in bulk and doing things through BOCES. All the districts do that to save money instead of us going out and buying a simple computer. We're accepting a generous donation of $700 from the Fantasy Football League for the Scott Peltier Memorial Scholarship. We're accepting grants from the Putnam Valley Education Foundation in the amount of $17,872. We're approving Kinder Camp for August 14th through Thursday, August 17th, just in the morning, and that's for new kindergarten students. So they get to be introduced to our school system during those 4 days. We're amending the days without pay for an employee who's on a Family Medical Leave Act until the end of the school year, and we're amending the salary step for 6 teaching assistants from step 1 to step 2. We made a mistake when we processed them before.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. I'd like to open it up to public comment on any topic.
I
Okay.
just have 3 quick ones.
Go ahead.
Just to remind the community that we're now going back to Thursday meetings. This will be our last Tuesday meeting, and our next meeting is May 18th, 2 days after the vote, and then we go back to June 1st and June 15th. This Thursday at 7 o'clock at the high school, we're having the National Junior Honor Society induction. That's a middle school honor society, will be inducted at the high school PAC. And just want to remind everyone, we started this meeting saying that on May 16th is the vote, from 6 in the morning till 9 at night at the elementary school. And if you cannot be there, just go online and get an absentee ballot.
Anybody else from the board have anything?
This past Friday, I went to the premiere of the Peers Influencing Peers film, Chasing Life. Peers deals with topics that are heavy, usually very heavy, and oftentimes the end result of their production is dark. There was a switch this year. We're chasing life as opposed to looking at the dark side. Was all about recovery. So it interviewed numerous program managers. One about with horses. That is an amazing program. St. Christopher's Inn was also an amazing program where they talked to a number of boys that were recovering, and some of them, at least one of them was at the event, which was a great thing. And one of the program people in Manhattan, not Oasis, I can't remember the name of it, but an amazing individual person. He was there. He received an award. In addition to that movie, that was very well done, by the way. The students also created PSAs for Putnam Communities That Care program to be aired on television, all about safe handling of prescription drugs. Some of them were very in nature for peers. They were very dark, but very much hit you home the message of take care of your prescription drugs because they are dangerous to children. And that's really the avoidance, was so that small children didn't get access to accidentally to things that look like candy. So that was all I had. It was a great night and well attended.
And while you're on that subject, I know I've often because I come in sometimes when the peers are in, and they're not all Putnam Valley students.
No.
So it is not a school organization. It's its own 501c3 nonprofit organization. I'm both saying it and asking questions, so I appreciate the nodding of the
Yes.
heads.
There were students from Yorktown. There were students from Carmel. They meet together, and then they meet separately. As far as like Carmel, I think meets at the Mayapack Library, and Yorktown folks come here. So a number of schools for all the meetings and for creating all this I think they're Thursdays. And you're right, it's not a school program.
So we have no-
They use our
it's your
facilities for
facility.
meetings, and they use our PAC for their release. But it is an outside organization that really hits some strong notes.
And do you know that, do they have the support of professionals in the field that provide any kind of guidance or
And a lot of-
oversight?
Yeah, and you know, even in this movie, they talk to experts on screen, and you know, at least 3 different programs. One was a psychologist, one was a group facilitator, and then the student, the kids themselves. So I mean, it was very strong. I think it seemed to have a very good professional background in the content preparation.
Okay. Because, it does use our school for location, so sometimes people think it's a school function, and we are not providing our own guidance, and we don't have the intimate workings of what kind of guidance they're getting. So I just think it's something I want to, that it is heavy-duty topics. So,
For those who aren't familiar with it, it actually formed as a club at Putnam Valley even before we had a high school. And it was formed by one of our teachers, a math teacher, Mr. Frank Reale, and somebody from the community, Mr. Buck Heller. They formed this group, and it started in our community, and then it moved to Lakeland and Panis, because that's where our students were going to school. And then it spread to all over Westchester, and it grew. The organization grew. It's where young men and women are trying to influence.
This is 24 years. This is their 24th year.
okay.
So.
Great. All right. Okay. Anybody else on the board have anything? Then I would like, okay, I need the executive session things. Hold on, coming.
I can do it if you want.
Can you do it? Thank you.
Resolved to convene an executive session for one matter of collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law, the Taylor Law.
Second.
Questions or comments?
I actually am going to request that we have 2 other topics to discuss. One is proposed litigation, and another matter of employment history of one particular person.
After which no business will be discussed.
All in favor?
Aye. Go out
Good
and
night,
vote next
everyone.
Tuesday or 2 Tuesdays from now.